roots are watering. Where when you see that's what was going on in Jesus, we're identifying with Christ so much now. It's like all of our eyes got on Jesus. Like first the Holy Spirit had to come and say, who he is who you are.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, that's who I am?
That's right.
And now you're identifying with Jesus. Now we start seeing, well, what was in Jesus' heart? And now because we're already identifying with him, the thoughts that were in his heart become enlivened in us very easily.
Yeah.
Because the gap has already been bridged.
Sure.
Right?
Right.
We're the image and likeness of God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see myself in the face of God. Oh, well, what is God? Oh, that's what God. Oh, it becomes easy. I mean, what does Psalm 16 say? What does it say? It says that God will not suffer me to see corruption, neither will he leave my soul in Hades. This causes my flesh to go to rest in certainty of life.
Yeah.
That's David talking about Jesus' heart on the cross. He said, God will not suffer me to see corruption. He won't leave my soul in hell. That has caused my flesh to rest on the cross. Right?
Yes.
And when we start finding that belief born in us, that God won't suffer us to see corruption, neither will he leave our soul in sorrow. We'll find our flesh going to rest. We'll find ourselves no longer trying to clothe ourselves with all of our devices. Right? And we'll find ourselves sitting wherever we're at, crying out to Abba. Right? And engaging with Abba. And then we'll actually find real salvation. Instead of laboring and toiling, trying to clothe ourselves with all of our devices, only to not find satisfaction. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much alcohol I drink, that alcohol will never bring peace to my soul. So if every time I feel subverted, I go to the alcohol for peace, I might find I pass out, and so I don't experience the tribulation. But when I wake up, I don't feel satisfied.
And you have a headache.
And I feel horrible.
That's right.
And I'm right back to the same thing. But in that place of tribulation, if I connect with Abba, I'll find whatever hurt is driving me to the alcohol or whatever else we're doing to cope. We'll find that stuff falling off of us because now we're engaging with God in that place instead of engaging in the devices. And then the devices start slowly falling off of us. Now, we don't try to bring that about. I'm just describing the dynamic of how we experience freedom so we can actually sit and set our eyes on our relationship with God. And he'll set us free from fear, from anxiety, from tribulation, from suffering, from alcohol, from drugs, from sexual addiction, from greed, from hatred, from envy, from all these kinds of things will be set free when we can just get a revelation that God's not far from us when we feel that great weight of I lack. And instead of going to whatever we go to, because that's why we go. We think we lack and we're trying to cope.
Right. Yep.
Our heart goes to God. He's actually the elixir. He's actually the only elixir that heals. It's no more a coping.
Right.
It's just a balm. It's like in Seinfeld, Kramer burned himself with a cup of coffee, and he was going to sue the coffee maker. And the maestro gave him a balm to put on his skin, and the balm healed the burn. Right? It didn't help him cope with the burn, it just healed him.
Right.
When our eyes get on God, God is a balm, and he heals whatever hurt we have.
Amen.
That cause us to go here, there, the other. I mean, for me, I went to exercise, which the world thinks is good.
Yeah, right.
So I looked like a real swell guy.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the world says some of the devices we use are okay. The other ones not so much. But even should you try to cope with working out and exercise, it's the same thing as if you went to the booze.
Sure.
It just looks better to the world.
It's a coping mechanism. That's
It's
all
a
it is.
coping mechanism,
Right. Yeah.
And so for me, I even used exercise that way. And there was a while where God brought something forth in me where I said, I'm not going to go to the gym for a while. And I didn't. And I found healing through Him. And now that I've been healed, I find that I'm going back to the gym just because I want to now.
Sure.
Not to cope.
Right.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.